From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Brenda Molina Navidad. Federal NDP leader Jagmeet Singh is trying to position himself as the only viable alternative to Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre in the next federal election. He spoke to reporters in Toronto a day after announcing he's tearing apart his party's alliance that has propped up the Liberals' minority government. Singh sidestepped questions about whether he would support a non-confidence motion that could trigger an election.
In terms of any motion moving forward, we're going to look at that motion before we decide. We're not going to presuppose an outcome of that. But I've ripped up the agreement with Justin Trudeau. And I know that means that an election has now become more likely. We are ready to fight an election whenever that happens.
Singh acknowledges one of his party's biggest challenges will be persuading Canadians it can actually form government. Health Canada has confirmed it's reviewing updated COVID-19 vaccines from Pfizer, Moderna, and Novavax. It expects to authorize the new shots this fall if they meet safety and efficacy standards. The group representing Canada's doctors says it will formally apologize during a live-streamed ceremony in Victoria for the role physicians played in harming members of Indigenous communities in this country. An international credit rating agency says Canada's canola industry could take a $1 billion hit in the wake of new Chinese trade actions.
Morningstar DBRS says China's plan to launch an anti-dumping investigation into canola seed imports from Canada could result in China levying tariffs on the crop. The agency says if tariffs are imposed, it could have a meaningful impact on canola trade flows. The economic impact could be similar to the last time China took a canola-related trade action against Canada. Industry estimates showed that action cost the Canadian canola sector between $1.54 and $2.35 billion between 2019 and 2020. Michelle Zadikian, The Canadian Press.
Via Rail has 30 days to make changes following a train delay that left passengers stranded for 10 hours over the Labor Day long weekend. Transport Minister Pablo Rodriguez says he told the railway company in a letter that it needs to update its emergency management action plan. Auto sales in Canada rose 5.6% in August compared with the same time last year. Red Lobster says it will soon exit from Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection after dozens of its restaurants had to close. The seafood chain is expected to operate about 544 locations across the U.S. and Canada upon emerging from bankruptcy. Actor Michael Keaton wants to change his name.
His real name, Michael Douglas, which he couldn't use when he started acting because of Screen Actors Guild credit rules. There was already a Michael Douglas.
Where'd that come from?
So he picked the name Keaton at random. But now he tells People magazine he'd like to change his name professionally to Michael Keaton Douglas. And he meant to for his directorial debut last year, Knox Goes Away, but he forgot. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, Team Canada keeps on striking gold at the Paralympic Games in Paris. Quebec swimmer Aurélie Rivard came first today in the women's S10 400-meter freestyle, her third medal at the Games. Wheelchair racer Brent Lakatos also won gold today in the men's T53 800 meters. A London, Ontario court heard today legal arguments in the sexual assault case of 5 former members of Canada's World Junior Hockey team. The players plan to defend themselves against allegations of a sexual assault at a hotel in 2018. The trial is set to take place next year. Alex Morgan has announced she's retiring from the U.S. women's national soccer team. The two-time Women's World Cup champion and Olympic gold medalist also announced she's pregnant with her second child. Morgan thanked the fans for their continued support over the years.
I'm so shaped into me because of you, because of soccer, and I am forever grateful.
From the Canadian Press, I'm Brenda Molina Navidad.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.